Live button. Welcome, Purple People podcast lovers. So excited to be with you on a Friday. My name is Kyle Smith, and I'm joined this week by the one and the only Kyle West.
Rock on, sir. I salute you with the rock sign right now, because you are metal. Heavy, heavy metal Kyle Smith.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and get into it. I've got this light lime green shirt on, but don't let it fool you. Tomorrow night in El Paso and then Sunday as well for a benefit. It's going down. We usually do the plugs, but I'm super pumped because
plug it now, man.
I'm doing it at the end as well, but I'm super pumped. I feel a good energy right now. My band is playing tomorrow night here in El Paso on Airport Road. It's on the other side of the base near the airport as well. Metallica tribute band. We're going on at 11. We have another band opening. I think they're going to go on, let's say 9:15, maybe 9:30. I'm just stalling right now because I want to pull up this picture that I have.
And I think you were telling me you guys play Metallica's full.
So we play the Black Album in full. We play 3 hits from Master of Puppets to include Master of Puppets. We're called Disposable Inc. So Damage Inc. and Disposable Heroes. We mix those two names together. We also play those songs from Master Puppets. We play 2 from Creeping Death and For Whom the Bell Tolls from Ride the Lightning. We play 1 from the new album Hardwired. We play 1 from Death Magnetic, along with the whole Black Album. So if you want to come
that's
to a really
kick-ass
rock
that
show,
is a kick-ass set.
Oh, yeah, it's great, man. And I'll give my guys in the band all the credit in the world. They're fantastic. But, yeah, tomorrow night, 915 Bar. Red Sand goes on at 9:15, and then we're going to be going as soon as they're done. So I'm pretty pumped about that, but that's not why we're here. I know we were talking music before the show, but since the two Kyles have to kind of take control of the ship, it might go off the rails a little bit.
What rails? They're gone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we got a negative comment about that not too long ago. We appreciate the feedback, but we're going to keep doing what we do because we love it.
We love any feedback, positive or negative. If you bash the show and then ask to get on the show, that is not a good way to do it. I want to give a shout out, right? I want to give a shout out to Sergio for being in the chat with us. Sir, you are the best. No, you betcha. You betcha. He says he was at the preseason game and got to see Cousins, Hughes, and Carlson play great against the Denver Broncos. Are you from the Denver area? You must be close to there. Otherwise, you travel really super well to go all the way to Mile High Stadium for a preseason game. Either way, that is really super awesome. We love you for supporting the team and the podcast.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So I know we plugged music just now, but like I mentioned before, this is the Purple People podcast. Thank you guys for joining. Thanks to Sergio for being with us live. I hope other people tag along as well. We're sorry it took so long this week. We all had different schedules. I had a math final. I swear to God, it added like 85 gray hairs in my head, but I passed Monday. Adam Carlson's out of town. Shout out to Dorian Foley because he's dealing with some personal issues this week. We're sending prayers up your way, man. They'll all be back next week. We're going to cover this game tomorrow as soon as we can. And we know you guys want to get a podcast out and talk about the games as soon as possible. We understand that.
Yeah, our goal is our goal here is we're going to get these out in a more timely fashion. It's more fun when we can talk about the game immediately afterward or the day afterward, because that's when we're all hyped up. It's been so long, I've half forgot about Denver, and we're on to Jacksonville. I want to give a shout out to Jesse Fletcher. Skol, sir. Thank you for joining us in the chat.
What's up, Jesse? Yeah, we appreciate everybody working with us. I know you guys probably already know what happened with the first preseason game. We're going to go over that. This is episode number 314 of the Purple People podcast entitled The Rock Says. And I'm really pumped about that because I grew up watching the WWE and WWF Attitude Era. I love Dwayne Johnson. Always was a fan, even when he was an asshole and he was a heel. But this is a show about Rock Thomas, the running back. Man, did he make a splash against the Broncos the other day. But we're going to dive into that in just a little bit and tell you about the 42-28 win on the road, preseason game number 1 in the books. The Vikings came away victorious against the Broncos. But for now, let's jump into the quick hits like we always do. Vikings rookie kicker.
Really quick.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Hey, really quick. I give a shout out to Sergio again. He's in SoCal, California. He planned a trip to Denver, and the Vikings happened to be in town. You picked a good time. You picked a good time to be in Denver.
Sergio, I'm sorry that I'm probably going to tell you a story if you've been listening for a while that you've heard already, but the season where we got Sam Bradford really like super quick and he played like 2 weeks later. I had just gotten home from a deployment. I knew I was on my way here in El Paso where I currently sit. I had a little bit of time for R&R and leave. And my coming home present was my Carolina Panther fan family buying me tickets for the Vikings. So that's cool that it lined up for you. It reminds me of that story. Yours was on the road as well. I grew up 30, 45 minutes away from Bank of America. Not Bank of America, is it? It's Bank of, yeah, it's Bank of America State. It used to be Erickson. I don't forget, but it's where the Panthers play. So that's cool that you got to go to that because the same thing happened for me. I don't know if that was your first game or not, but we both got to go when it was away games and the Vikings won. So that's what's up, man. Really happy you got to go from there. Sergio, if you're still listening, which I think you are, send the podcast a message. And if you took any photos or videos, we'll give you the credit. We'll shout you out on there, but let us know and we'll post them on the page up from your behalf. And yeah, that'd be really cool, man. As I was saying earlier, let's jump into some quick hits real fast. Vikings rookie kicker Daniel Carlson, spoiler alert, he may be later on in the show in the Donkeys or the Game Balls, just saying. I don't think it's completely set in still, but I just keep enjoying it a day in the time. This is when he was talking about being in the NFL. Has to be a cool feeling once you play your first game, even though it's preseason, to go out and get to perform. And we'll talk about the kicking situation a little bit later, but I'm pretty pumped that we drafted this kid because what we've seen so far, what we've heard so far has been nothing but positive.
Yeah, and you know what? I know this is a little bit of the game review we're getting into already, but I mean, I thought he looked fine in his preseason debut. What a good place to debut a young rookie kicker. You put him in Mile High Stadium where if you've got any kind of a leg, you can add an extra 15 yards on top of what you can do to begin with just due to the climate. You can really boot those balls around and get some confidence for him. I liked the way they kind of split the time between the two kickers and gave Kai Forbath kickoff duties, and they let Carlson do the field goals and extra points and stuff. I'm assuming against Jacksonville, we'll probably see the two flip-flop, and we'll probably see Carlson do some kickoff duties.
Yeah, and we can only guesstimate as to why they're doing this. I'm not sure. I have nothing against Kai Forbath, but I think his days are all but numbered, which kind of sucks because he's been a good how do I want to say this? He's been a good rebound date from the awful Blair Walsh experiment and how that ended. He's missed a couple here and there, but he's been, for the most part, 80 to 85% reliable. He hasn't lost us any games. He's actually came in and won a couple, which is great. But when you draft a kicker, like we said many times this year on the show, in the 5th round, that kid's starting whether you want him to or not. And unless Kai Forbath is just all of a sudden kicking 70-yarders every day in camp and he can't miss, that kid's not going to be let go. So, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. I'm really high on Daniel Carlson, but I wanted to make it known, none of us here at the show have a thing against Kai Forbath whatsoever.
Right. Yep.
I'll let you take this one, man, if you have the notes ready. We're going to talk about Corey Stringer. If you guys don't remember, he tragically passed away on August 1st, 2001 from a heat stroke during training camp in Mankato. But there's been something cool to honor him, and Kyle's going to tell you about that.
Yeah, sure. So if you guys are familiar with the Mankato area where the Vikings used to do training camp, which I went for a number of years, they had a plaque and they had a tree that was put up dedicated to Corey Stringer. And when it was over by the old Gage dorms, which got torn down. What was that? That was a couple years ago that Gage dorms have been gone. And so they moved the plaque and they transplanted the tree kind of like across the street to another area. Unfortunately, the original tree, which I think was like 17 years that it stood, it didn't make it, which, hey, that happens sometimes when you try to transplant an older tree or whatnot. So they went ahead and they replanted another one, which I thought was really cool and a really good gesture by the part of the team. As you guys know, the Vikings no longer host training camp in Mankato. We got the fancy new TCO Performance Center that they do all that in. And so I kind of wondered what was going to happen to the Corey Stringer plaque and the tree. And I think it's really cool that the Vikings and Mankato State are continuing on, and that plaque is going to remain there, and that they got a new tree, that they're going to keep that memorial up, because I think that's a really important thing to do. That was a hell of a thing that happened with Corey Stringer. He was super young when he passed, and he passed in such just a terrible way. Playing a game, practicing for a game, that's just a difficult way for anyone to go. And so I'm just really happy to see that they're continuing on with that gesture and to honor him.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I agree.
Yeah.
It's just nothing it's nothing out of the normal for this team, and the stuff that they do, it's super classy, and they make me really proud to be a fan, and I love them for it. So shout out to Corey Stringer. You won't be forgotten, man.
And in case if anyone has ever wondered, they did move his locker. I don't even know if you know this, Kyle Smith. He had a locker that they kept with his jersey and his helmet and some of his personal belongings that they had like glass in front of, that was in the old Winter Park facility. They kept that, and so they moved that. That is in the new TCO Performance Center. So I thought that was really cool that they kept that as well. They moved his whole locker.
Yeah, I remember this being talked about, but it's just like I said, this is such class, man, from this team, the whole family, just trying to do as right and as best we can, even though he's gone. So shout out to Corey Stringer. You won't be forgotten, man, and always we keep his thoughts and prayers to the family there.
Definitely. Yep.
This was shitty news. Moving on to the next quick hit. Nick Easton's on IR. His season's over with. Minnesota signed guard Caleb Johnson, originally undrafted free agent 2015. He's been with the Ravens, Browns, Cardinals, Chiefs, and Bears. I wouldn't even say a journeyman. He's just fighting for a spot. This is just a body to put in at the offensive line position. This really sucks, man. I won't say that it's happening again, but it seems like something always happens. And I told you guys this. I said it before. I'm not down on the Vikings whatsoever. I think they have a lot of talent. Got a crazy loaded roster, but if you can't keep the quarterback up and you can't block for the running back, it's going to be a long, tough, unbearable season. So I'm hoping that Nick Easton going down means that maybe there's a new link that comes in the chain and it doesn't slow us down, but we can just keep on moving at the same speed, because there were drastic improvements last year from 2016 to 2017 with the line. I know a lot of people didn't like it still, but it was a very good improvement from the year before. So we'd like to keep that intact and keep going, trending upward.
Yeah, yep. I was and am a big fan of Nick Easton. I think it's a bigger blow to the team than what maybe people want to give it credit for. Nick Easton is a tough, gritty player. He makes mistakes, but overall, he's a good quality offensive lineman for this team. He's versatile as well too. You could play him at guards or center. You could move him around that line if necessary. So yeah, I hope it's injuries are a part of the game. Next man up. Mike Zimmer is just going to have to coach up whoever's next in line. Going to have to get it done.
This sucks. I mean, there's no way else to put it. But I mean, like I said, what can you do? Nobody's going to feel bad for us that somebody goes down at any position. Nope. And they didn't 2 years ago. They didn't last year. They're not going to care this year. But we'll figure it out. Like you said, you got to have faith in the coaching staff. Sam Bradford went out week 1 last year, the most important position we have, and we had the second best season in the history of the franchise. So
Paul Gruber chimed in the chat, which thank you for joining us. We have depth at defensive back, trade for an offensive lineman. I had heard at rumors, hey, rumors here, everyone, this is not anything. Or people were saying that maybe, Mike Hughes is coming along really well. Hey, maybe Trey Waynes could be trade bait, get an offensive lineman. I'm not sure if you could trade like a Trey Waynes for a quality offensive lineman, and that's not knocking Trey Waynes. That's just saying that quality starting offensive linemen are really fucking difficult to come by in the NFL. So you'd have to put a pretty package deal together, and I don't think Minnesota is in a situation just yet where they would want to give up a player and a pick or two to bring in a lineman. That's just my opinion on it.
Yeah. Okay. Trading Trey Wayne's not going to happen. Maybe if you trade Laquan Treadwell, I'd do that trade.
Yeah. I got us social media about that one next week.
Oh, I know you do. I'm looking at it right now. I'm not too happy that Nick went down, like I said, but you can't be doing something crazy. The only time you make crazy decisions and crazy trades is in the likeliness of a Teddy Bridgewater, going down,
right?
And then you have to replace them immediately. Then you go ahead and give a piece of the house away. So that's it. Vikings safety Jack Tocho made the Pro Football Focus preseason Week 1 NFL Team of the Week. That's pretty dope, man. Haven't heard a lot of stuff about him since he's been on the team. I know he's been a special teams player, but I'm happy for him.
This is one of those what do I know statements. I actually thought he had kind of a shit game overall. I thought he blew some coverages and didn't really look the best to me. What do I know? Pro Football Focus said he was one of the better players. Sure. If that's what they want to say, I will agree with them.
All right, moving right along. This one's pretty sweet. Chad Greenway wants to sell you some Grey Duck vodka. You heard it right. The 80 proof alcohol is made in Minnesota, and yes, it is named after the Duck Duck Goose, Duck Duck Grey Goose, or Duck Duck Grey Goose. I see. I was going to say that wrong.
See, it's
touchdown celebration.
Yeah, the Duck Duck Goose, Duck Duck Grey Goose is so dumb you can't even say the other way correctly. I'm sorry, everyone in Minnesota. It's Duck Duck Goose.
You can find it available at the Total Wine and More locations around Minnesota. So if you're like that diehard about the Vikings, and you want to have a cool little thing to throw down in your man cave or just to keep around, there's an actual vodka after a Vikings touchdown celebration named after it, and it's going to be around locations, like we said, Total Wine and More. That's where it'll be.
Hey, I think I heard that Chad Greenway is going to be at a few of them, so you could show up and get you some fucking vodka and a Chad Greenway autograph. I can't think of a better way to spend a Saturday. Can you?
No, not at all.
No, that seems like a pretty good one to me.
And last but not least, let's talk about tight end Josiah Price. He will miss all of 2018 due to a knee injury after he suffered in Wednesday's practice. He's going to be placed on IR. Man, this is the preseason, guys, and it's going to happen in the regular season too. Yeah. People are going to get banged up. Best of luck and well wishes to Josiah Price and next man up. Sorry,
I say it all the time. I wish injuries just were not a part of the game. I would love every team to be at full strength all of the time. Even when I don't fuck Aaron Rodgers. I don't like Aaron Rodgers, but even when he gets hurt, I want the Vikings to beat the Packers and I want them to beat Aaron Rodgers. I want them to be at full strength. You know what I mean? If we're gonna beat the Packers, I want to beat the Packers. So injuries suck, man. No matter if it's Aaron Rodgers or a backup tight end and Josiah Price, it's just shitty all around.
Yeah, I may feel you too. I want the best players on the field because I think the best product comes out when the best players are on the field. Now you can have miracle performances like Case most of last year, or just you can pick up like Brett Favre takes over and then plays 297 games. Same thing with Tom Brady. I think it was Doug Flutie goes down, and then Tom Brady, who's still playing now, is still playing.
Drew Bledsoe.
Oh, Brett Bledsoe. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, everybody's gonna kill me now. I'm not a New England Bills fan, anything up there in the north. So sorry, I'm not sorry, but you get what I mean. People can step in and have good seasons or crazy circumstances. They step in and have a good career, but we want to see the best competition on the field. So I'm right there with you, man. As much as I hate us playing Aaron Rodgers twice a year, when we get to actually beat him one-on-one, it's that much sweeter. So I agree with you there.
What's more fun? We picked off Brett Hundley, or hey, Xavier Rhodes picked off Aaron Rodgers for a pick six. That's what I want to talk smack about. Not Brett Hundley.
Yeah, that's true. All right, man. Let's talk about this game that happened, and we'll go over the box score. We got to see the first thing of Kirk Cousins, and the first time that he's been in a Vikings uniform. There's some games on right now, actually, which is really weird. The Giants are playing Detroit. Miami's playing Carolina. Arizona's in New Orleans. Buffalo's in Cleveland. This is weird. I wish this is how it went all the time, but I guess it wouldn't make the Sundays as fulfilling.
Yeah, I think about that too. Like, just I know they've got football on Thursdays, Sundays, and Monday Night Football now, but I don't know. There's got to be a way that we can shoehorn in some more football games instead of having them all played at once. Like, 'cause I will sit down and watch the two worst teams in the league play football because I love football. I'm with you on that one. We need more football, more NFL football, more often.
Sorry, I'm over here texting when I should do something else. This is how professional we are. Let's go over this game, though. 42-28, the Vikings went into Denver and won. We'll go over – let's just run down the – well, actually, before we run down the line, Kyle and I are the only ones on the show.
Let's just do our game ball and donkey, and then let's just spitball back. And we can just spitball back and forth and talk about the game. We don't need to go through every single stat, I don't think.
All right, so I'm giving my game ball to Daniel Carlson, the kicker. And I'm doing this because he nailed both of his field goals, and one of them was a 57-yard field goal. Holy shit. And he also got 4 for 4 on his extra points. So if you're counting that, he scored 10 of those 42 points, all right? That's awesome. That's insane. 57 yards is just stupid. So I love the kid's leg strength. We'll see if they give Kai a shot next week. If you guys remember, we talked about this last week. There's not going to be 2 roster cuts to the final 53. There's only going to be 1. So this is going to be fun and exciting. I have a feeling Kai Forbath is going to be looking for a new home of employment, but I get it. I totally get it. You draft a kid, you want to see him succeed. I'm happy that he's doing well because I'd be really pissed if we wasted a 5th-round pick on a kicker. Right. Because you take a look around the league, and this is another emphasis I have, the value for a kicker is not going to be any greater than a 5th. And I think we kind of reached for him there. However, we've seen teams in recent years do something way dumber. I think Tampa Bay took a kicker in the 2nd. Tampa Bay, what the fuck were you thinking? Like,
yeah, it's terrible.
I don't, unless it's Stephen Gostkowski, or you're getting one of those guys, or you're getting another Adam Vinatieri, and you know without a shadow of a doubt that's who it is. I get it, but you don't get to take a kicker in the 5th or 2nd round. There's a ton of talent ahead of them and a much needed more position there. But I'm happy. Daniel Carlson is my game ball this week. A 57-yarder on the road in his first debut playing real NFL football. You're awesome, dude.
Smart coaching. Start the kid in mile high, like I said, to get him some confidence early on. You kick that long field goal, that'll help boost his ego a little bit. I think going into Jacksonville, you'll probably see, like I said at the top of the show, Carlson on kickoff duties and probably Kai doing field goals and stuff. I think that allows those two to have a competition, but to also stay in rhythm. I've noticed in preseason when they rotate, one kicker one time and the next kicker the next time, they're not in any kind of rhythm, and it makes it more difficult on them. So I like what they're doing. Start them one way or start them the other way and just keep them. You have plenty of time to figure out who's going to be your starter by the time the season begins.
Yeah, training camp's over with too, man. Everything that they were going to want to see, I think they've already seen day in and day out. Now they just have to execute it in a game, whether it be on the road or at home. But I think they've pretty much seen the bulk of what these players truly are and what they're good at and what they need to fix. But that's just me. My donkey, and I'm sorry, I'm not sorry on this because I'm with Kyle West. I'm gonna steal his hot take here.
Go for it.
Laquan Treadwell, man. I'm ready to wash my hands of the kid, and I saw it, and Kyle West showed me the light. I'm sorry because this really sucks, but he just doesn't seem like he really gives a shit about football. He kind of seems like he's just there, and he's kind of doing it because it kind of led him somewhere, but I don't think that he – and this is just me checking out body language and whatever. I'm used to seeing guys like Steve Smith, and I'm used to seeing guys like Antonio Brown who have a little bit of swagger in what they do. We have 2 guys on the team who have completely different personalities, but they ball out, they get super emotional, and nothing's going to stop them from going to get a ball. And it just seems like Quan Treadwell is just like, yeah, I mean, if a ball gets thrown my way perfectly, I'll try to catch it. Dude, you're a huge, big-bodied receiver. Go get footballs. And I understand he said in the preseason like, oh, this guy's throwing to me a lot more. Pretty cool, whatever. But I want to see him, especially when I'm looking here, Kirk Cousins throws a touchdown. Kyle Sloter on the third team throws a touchdown. Trevor Siemian, the backup, throws 2 touchdowns. I'm looking at Laquan Treadwell, 1 catch for 3 yards. That's not a first-round pick, and I'm going to harp on this every single time until he proves me otherwise. This is going to be another Cordarrelle Patterson, but Cordarrelle Patterson was better.
Cordarrelle had some swagger to him, and he could get it done on special teams, and you could work gadget plays into the offense.
His first year, I mean, he had a couple of receiving touchdowns, a couple rushing, some ran back in the special teams. He did it all. Laquan doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, man. I know I'm this pudgy white kid sitting on a couch, but this is what we do for podcasts and we analyze stuff. So yeah. I didn't see anything from him. I'm still not impressed, and it's year 3. This is make or break. I'm sorry.
It's also at the point, too, where it's like, okay, Laquan you've been in the league for a little bit. You've got some seasons under your belt. You're going out there in preseason. You're not with the backups. You're a former first-round talent. You should be running people over. You should be looking like a highlight reel out there. Like, your talent level should be above the other players on the field right now, and I'm just not seeing it with him. I'm right with you, dude. It's our social media. Maybe let's just talk about it right now. Next week's social media question is going to be, will 2018 be a make or break season for wide receiver Laquan Treadwell? If you guys follow us on Facebook, I want to know what you guys think, what he has to do to stick on with Minnesota. What does he have to do to secure a roster spot? Do you think he will, or do you think it will be he's a non-factor and the team has to move on from him? So that'll be up on our Facebook after we get done recording this week's episode.
Those are our game balls and donkeys. We're going to run down and spitball the stats from this game.
Shit, I haven't even done mine yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad, man. I'm so sorry. I'm looking at yours. We got to talking and shitting all over Laquan Treadwell. I forgot to give you yours. I'm so sorry, man.
Right. So I got some running backs that I wanted to talk about. Of course, he's the man of the hour. He's the guy that we named the show after. Rock Thomas gets my game ball. There is an opening for that running back 3 position behind, obviously, Dalvin Cook and Latavius Murray are our 1-2 combo. Who's going to be running back 3? Rock Thomas said, hey, I can do that with 136 all-purpose yardage. I can smell what the Rock is cooking, and I like it. I think a lot of you guys were a big fan of him as well, too. My donkey, sticking with the theme of the running backs, I'm going with Mac Brown. Hey, here's a guy who spent a little bit of time in the league before. He's got some experience on the practice squad. Here's his opportunity to say, hey, I can come out and I can be that running back 3. And he did precisely dick with it. I was not impressed with his performance on the field. He really just didn't have anything that he didn't look even like a guy that you could count on out there. He just looked like, I don't know, he didn't look like anything. I was not impressed with Mac Brown. I'm all aboard the Rock Thomas hype train at the moment.
I hope that continues. We seem to have at least one every single year. Somebody comes out and just stuns everyone and says, "Man, this is great." We've been rooting for this guy. He's a hometown guy, or he's been a camp buddy or something. But yeah, shout out to Rock Thomas. I hope he does well.
I think he's undrafted.
Yeah, let's look at it. Let's just go ahead. Let's just be.
I'm pretty sure he's undrafted.
Rookie, Jacksonville State, and I don't know. No stats available. I'm looking here. I'll go to Wikipedia.
We need do you ever listen to Joe Rogan's podcast?
I do. I love Joe Rogan.
So you know how he's got Jamie sitting off to the side and he'd be like, "Hey Jamie, Google this for me," and they look it up. We hire someone that's just off to the side and be like, "Hey, look this up for us. Be our Jamie. Go Google. Go fetch."
That's what we need.
Or don't you have Siri on your phone? Hey Siri.
I could ask, but I'm not finding anything on him. You might be right. Yeah, he's a rookie, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure when he came along. We'll look that up. But let's talk about these quarterbacks, man. Like I said, this is the first time we've seen Kirk Cousins in a Vikings uniform. He looked great. There's no way around it. And I like it because, like I said earlier, when you draft somebody or you pay a lot of money for somebody, you expect them to come out and perform. And if they do terrible, you're sitting there like, well, this sucks. I think we wasted some money. Not the case with Kirk Cousins. 4 for 4, passer rating of 150. Average was 10.5 per attempt. He had 42 yards, 4 for 2, and a touchdown to the one and only Stephon Diggs. And it was a beautiful throw, beautiful catch.
The touchdown was good, but I think his best throw of the game, there was a sideline pass where Stephon Diggs.
That's what I was referring to.
That's the one. Okay.
The little slant over the middle to Stephon Diggs was like a 1 yard, throw or whatever is what it counts for. But the beautiful throw that he had to the sideline is what we're talking about. He placed the ball perfectly, and that's exactly what you want to see from our flashiest receiver. Technically, he's the number 2, but he's most certainly the most popular receiver we've had since. Since Randy Moss.
dude. This is how excited I am for Kirk Cousins. We haven't had a quarterback who could throw a receiver open since Brett Favre. And I love Teddy Bridgewater. I loved Case Keenum. But guys had to be open for this to happen. Being able to put a ball in a position where your receiver is covered and they can still make a play on it and make a path, that is a big deal. That is one of those qualities that will help elevate the Vikings to that next level. That helps us get us over that hump and beat the Philadelphia Eagles and go on and compete for a Super Bowl. That's the kind of high caliber play that we are paying Kirk Cousins to provide for this team. And I hope everyone is excited for it. I think you should be. I think everyone should be.
Yeah, I like it, man. I really do. Sorry, I'm looking up. You talked about Teddy Bridgewater in this Pro Football Focus, man. We'll talk about Teddy at the end of the show, man. He's
Teddy's great.
He's lighting it up Teddy right now.
Yeah.
His straight body's jumping up.
I know. I love Teddy. Teddy couldn't have thrown that sideline pass that Kirk Cousins did.
No, he couldn't. A lot of us believed in Teddy because he was such a likable guy as a person. I had a jersey. I liked him. I loved the kid as a human being, and I loved his heart. But I didn't see him being anything better than an Alex Smith, which Alex Smith's fine. But I never saw him do that.
10-year career?
Yeah, he's still playing right now. 14 years, he's playing with the Redskins. He's helped teams get to winning enough to get to a Super Bowl. But, I'm with you, man. I don't see anybody throwing it just like that unless it was Sam Bradford. But he has the injury history, so who knows if he'd even be available. So there's that. Talk about Teddy a little bit later, but let's go through these quarterbacks and rush down everything here. Like I said, Kirk Cousins 4 for 4, 42 yards, a touchdown, 150 rating. Trevor Siemian led the day in yards with 165. He was 11 for 17, 165 yards, 9.7 average, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 111.2 rating. Kyle Sloter almost got my game ball. He was 9 for 11, 69 yards, and a touchdown. All the quarterbacks did their job, and they did it pretty damn good. So I was very, very happy with that.
A lot of people were not too high on Trevor Siemian, but I still think he's your penciled-in number 2, and I don't think that that'll change just based on NFL starting experience. It was tough to come by. I like Kyle Sloter a lot as well, too. I can see why Denver fans were high on him. But I just don't quite know if you can pencil him in as that number 2 quarterback just yet. Maybe he'll ball out. Maybe he will absolutely ball out for the rest of preseason. That would be a fine problem to have, wouldn't it?
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
We could have 3 starting caliber quarterbacks like we did last year. That's a great thing to have, but it's just few and far between. We'll see how it goes.
I like the way your dog's chilling out on the couch.
Yeah, that's his spot, man. I came home, I gave him some treats, and he's staring out the window right now.
He looks very happy. Yeah.
On to the running backs. Latavius Murray, 4 carries, 43 yards, longest of 21, 10.8 average. Mac Brown, 11 for 34, 3.1 average, longest is 11. Kyle wasn't impressed with that. Rock Thomas, 8 carries, 29 yards, 3.6 average. Mike Boone, 12 for 22, 1.8 average. Kyle Sloter ran twice for this was nice. Kyle Sloter ran twice for 19 yards. His longest was 14, but he scored a touchdown as well. I told you, man, I could have given my game ball to Kyle Sloter, but I did not because I wanted to go a little bit differently and not as cliche as picking a quarterback. Man, he had a decent game.
Right? Latavius, really quick, man. Latavius Murray looked fucking good.
He did. Yeah, he did. He's been killing it in the gym. You got to think last year when he was coming into us, he had that foot injury, and he didn't really get going until the middle of the season, close to the middle of the season, a little before the middle. But he looked good, man. And Dalvin Cook didn't even play. You guys, we have a shit ton of talent on this team at all positions.
I wonder, do you think we're going to see Dalvin coming up tomorrow against Jacksonville, or do you think they hold him out?
I would hold him out to the regular season. There's no reason to put him in. I would. I'd hold.
I hate you so much. I want to see him play.
Dude, I want to see him play just as much as anybody else. But there's no way I risk a week 4 ACL tear last year, not even a year ago from the day. Hell no. I'm not playing him till the first game. And he's not even going to take for me, he's not even taking the first snap. I'm going to put Latavius in. I'm going to slowly work Dalvin Cook in each week. When he's fully back and I see him making those weird cuts and he's good, then we'll unleash the beast. But like I said, this is a good problem to have. So that's our running back situation. It looks really good. There's a little bit of down and a little bit of trending downward coming on the side of Mac Brown and Mike Boone. But Rock Thomas showed up out of nowhere, so that was pretty sweet to see. He's fighting for a roster spot for sure. Lots of receivers to talk about. The most receptions we had the whole game were 3. Rock Thomas, Stephon Diggs, Chad Beebe, and Mike Boone all had 3 receptions. Rock Thomas had 102 receiving yards. That's a running back. Longest was 78, so that's kind of crazy. He scored 2 receiving touchdowns. Stephon Diggs was 3 for 3, 35 yards, 11.7 average. Longest was 28, that beautiful sideline throw. And then he scored a touchdown.
Stephon Diggs out there doing Stephon Diggs superhero shit.
He picked up right where he left off.
Best way of putting it.
Yeah, he picked up right where he left off. Good for him. Chad Beebe, 3 for 22. Mike Boone, 3 for 21. Stacey Coley. Oh, go ahead.
Chad Beebe has a legitimate shot to make this roster, I think. He looked good to me. I'm not saying he's going to be active on game days or anything now, but I liked him a lot. I said it in the chat to you guys. He looked like a no-name wide receiver that Bill Belichick would put in like week 6 that you've never heard of, that would just have an ESPN highlight reel all of a sudden out of nowhere. I'm all aboard the Chad Beebe hype train as well.
Yeah. That's what I'm hearing. And this is just weird. I'll try to dig right now. I've Googled it, but I'm trying to figure out how to sort this news on here. But, man, Kendall Wright, let's talk about the receiver that came over from the Bears.
Oh, he was almost a donkey for me.
Dude, he's not, from the stuff that I've been listening to and the stuff that I've been reading.
Really?
He's not been grasping what the Vikings are putting out for him.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just completely different offense they run in Chicago, but the guy that I was super hyped for on the offensive side, you guys know I'm pumped about Sheldon Richardson on the defensive side. The guy I was hyped for on offense, he's not getting it so far, according to reports. Now, that's hearsay and opinion, so we'll see how that works. But he's not getting it yet. That's not good. I was kind of hoping he would take the place of Jarius. Right? We'll see.
Yep.
But we'll get back to him. Stacey Coley, 2 for 23. The rest of these guys had 1. I'm not going to go through all of them because guys like Tyler Conklin and Laquan Treadwell and Jeff Badette only had 2, 3, 5 yards respectively. Jake Weineke caught 1 for 16. David Morgan, Caleb Jones, 1 for 1. Kendall Wright, Josiah Price, 1 for 9. All total for receivers. And, total receiving yards in the game was 276. So that's actually a lot. We have 4 receiving touchdowns total. I didn't get to shout out Chad Beebe earlier. Chad Beebe also scored a touchdown. So be on the lookout, man. You guys be on the lookout for Chad Beebe. He might sneak in and be that last wide receiver that makes a roster.
Wearing Randy Moss. He looks like a short Randy Moss out there. We're in number 84.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Defensively, there was no fumbles. That was good. Denver had no fumbles either. Defensively, Trey Matthews had 7 total tackles with 6 solo. Jack Tocho, Holton Hill, Tashawn Bauer, and Kentrell Brothers had 4. Down the list, we see Ben Getty and Trevor Matthews.
Guys,
all these guys.
I'll be honest, defense in week 1 preseason is what it is. You're not doing anything. Although I thought it was funny that typically teams don't blitz in the first preseason. It's a very vanilla thing. And Denver started throwing the blitz out against Minnesota, and it was like Mike Zimmer just like, fuck this. If you're going to blitz, I'm going to blitz too. Minnesota started throwing some exotic packages out there as well too. And funny because I had heard at the beginning of training camp, he had to like get the defense together because, they've all been in this long enough that they know, that the captains can call their own plays and shit. And he had to tell the defense to like reel it back a little bit because they started to like call their own audibles against the offense in camp in like the first couple of days of it. So Zimmer had to tell him to, guys, reel it back, man, reel it back. I like that. I like the way they want to go. They want to play.
Man, I'm watching a video that came out today from Football Focus on. I was telling you about Teddy Bridgewater. Damn, this kid's stock is going super high. He's making some throws in this thing. Holy shit.
Some money throws. What's his stats? Do you got his stat line in front of you?
I'll bring it up. Just fill in for me for a second, and I'll figure this one out.
I don't know if Teddy. I don't think that the Jets are going to keep him. They've got their young quarterback that they drafted, but someone out there has a roster spot for Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, he's a competent number 2, and he should maybe, if he's looking as good as what you're saying, maybe Teddy ought to be starting out there someplace, man.
I don't think they are because Sam Darnold does look good, but I would wait. It's the same thing I've always said. I'm old school about it. I'm not rushing a rookie quarterback in unless there's an emergency or if he's like Russell Wilson and he comes in as a 3rd rounder and he's clearly better than the guy I've signed to start. Teddy Bridgewater played yesterday. They lost to the Redskins in Washington, but 10 for 15, 127, 87.4 rating, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. But all I've heard the last couple of days is just how it's crazy. He gave a touchdown to a guy named Sharon Peak. I've never heard of this guy in my life. Cool. Sam Darnold, 8 for 11, no touchdowns and a pick. Horrible rating, 62 yards. Yeah, the thing what's up with Teddy is these throws, even though he looks great right now and the throws that he's making, even if they're drops, those are perfectly thrown balls. Here's the problem. Can you name a team besides the Miami Dolphins right now who haven't recently drafted a quarterback or who desperately need one? Because I can't find another one. It sucks, and this is never the case. And I feel like it's going to be something like Baltimore where they have a thing where they have the new rookie they drafted. They've got RG3 up in Baltimore, and you got the proven guy, supposedly, but he hasn't been good for like 3 years, and Joe Flacco.
I mean, Cincinnati, they've got Andy Dalton. Do they want someone who can push Andy Dalton a little more than whoever their backup is? I don't know. Maybe that's potential for Teddy.
That's one, but I don't know if they're ready to get rid of him. That's a solid one. That's how I feel about Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill sucks, and Teddy's from Miami, guys. Or even better, you know who I would love to see more down in Florida than Teddy Bridgewater replace? Fucking Blake Bortles, because he is awful. Let him go to Jacksonville. Let Teddy go to Jacksonville. He's not going to throw interceptions and stupid errant throws like Blake Bortles. Pencil him in for the playoffs, guys.
With that defense, with Teddy,
absolutely. It's just like it was in Minnesota for him because Jacksonville went 10-6 last year. Now, did they make it to the AFC Championship game? Sure did. Blake Bortles played an all right game. But Blake Bortles, for the most part, I take the Colin Cowherd approach here. I'm going to take his best year and his worst year. I'm going to throw him out. What is Blake Bortles? And he's pretty shitty, average at best most of the time. I think Teddy Bridgewater is better than him. But if you guys love Teddy Bridgewater like we do, we found an excuse to talk about him. His stock is skyrocketing. We'll see what comes in. Obviously, if he gets traded and somebody picks him up, we'll let you know. But going back to this game real fast, there was 2 interceptions that were pretty sweet. My boy Anthony Harris from Virginia Tech got an interception, ran it for 4 yards, and Jack Tocho got an interception, which we talked about earlier. What part was he on there? It's the second one. It was the third one. Oh, there it is. Pro Football Focus preseason week 1 NFL team of the week. So from that, great play there. That's one of the reasons why he got picked. Mike Hughes returned a kick, 1 for 16. Punt returns, Craig James, Mike Hughes, and Marcus Sherrills all tried it. Nothing stellar at the punt returns.
Mike Hughes kind of fumbled it. I think was it on the kick? The kick or the punt? I don't remember. He had a little fumble with it. He had a little fumble and then he picked it up. But I mean, I still think he will be able to snag one of those 2 positions. You know what? We keep wanting to replace Marcus Sherrills, but I still think he probably has a roster spot, just based on special teams play. That's just my gut feeling with that is that I don't quite think that we can get rid of Marcus Sherrills. Maybe next year, folks. We'll see how Mike Hughes is able to do on special teams moving forward.
He's got 9 lives, guys. We've been talking about this for years, so I would not be surprised to see him still on the team.
He's got to be up to like 7 or 8. They're coming. They're coming, man. They're coming.
Like Father Time always wins, but he keeps finding a way. So we'll see. We'll keep you updated on that. In the kicking and punting game, Daniel Carlson, my game ball, 2 for 2 at field goals, 4 for 4 and the extra points, 57-yard field goal is the longest. Incredible day for him. Ryan Quigley punted 5 times, 245 yards, average 49. Longest was a 67-yard punt. What up, Ryan Quigley? You're getting some love here on the show, too. Keep doing your thing, man. Man, it was a fun way. I'm glad, even though it's preseason, we could lose all the preseason games.
It's always fun.
We could be great after. We could win all the preseason games like we did a couple years ago and finish 8-8. Who cares? But Viking football was finally back. The first team offense looked great. And I hate to say this because I love the guy last year and I have nothing but love for him. Case Keenum project in Denver looked like shit the first go around. It looked like Kirk Cousins was the right move. But this is all preseason, guys. This is all nothing and means nothing. So we'll keep going. But overall thoughts, man, I thought we looked fine and it was a nice game. 70 points in this game, man. How crazy is that? If you're sitting up there in Denver like Sergio was and you get to watch a game where 70 points go down, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah. What Case Keenum had like a 30-something quarterback rating? Like it was terrible.
Dude,
he looked absolutely awful. I kind of feel bad for him because he's such a likable guy. Like I want to see him do well. But I think the Vikings
1 for 4 for 5 yards, 1.3 average, and a 39.6 rating. Ugh. Chad Kelly.
That's pretty bad.
That kid balled out. He looks like a decent backup, but Paxton Lynch looks like hell. Case Keenum did not have the start that he wanted to have, but preseason, guys. It's preseason. Don't get too
let's see here. Around it. We're getting kind of long in time here. Should we do our social media and wrap it up for this week?
Yeah, man, it's just me and you, so we'll wrap it up.
Yep.
So social media, if you're pulling it up, I'll solve for you here, man. Social media question of the week. You guys check this out, man, on Facebook. We ask it every single week. We try to at least. And if you comment on it, we'll shout you out. We'll talk about what you said if we agree with it. If you say something unique or that stands out to debate, we're always going to shout you out and talk about it. So last week's social media question of the week was, which Vikings player impressed you the most during the Week 1 preseason matchup against the Broncos? Essentially, we're asking you what we do on the show here. If you could give your game ball away, who would it be? Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
I am pulling it up right now. I've got the little spinny wheel of death on my computer because that always happens when I'm going live on YouTube and it eats all my bandwidth.
I feel you, man. Like I said, for mine, I could have went either way. Like I said, Daniel Carlson was great. I almost want to do Kyle Sloter because it's crazy. I think he was originally with the Broncos, and Trevor Siemian was with the Broncos, our former quarterbacks in Denver. There's a lot of little, I don't say drama storylines, but there's a lot of little storylines for this past game that were really interesting. It's pretty awesome.
I swear I almost got it.
It's all good, man. If you can't get to it, I'm going to navigate this way. I don't know who's still left there in the chat with us. I should have that up, but I always get nervous when we bring up YouTube because stuff likes to play super loud because that's all I ever do.
I got our comments right here. Social media. Let's see here. We have a lot. Guess what? There was a lot of people on board the Rock Thomas hype train. David Ordenson said will second that motion on Rock Thomas. Looks like we found our new McKinnon.
Shout out to David. He's a buddy of mine back home.
Oh, awesome. Kathy Eisberg said, as usual, my comment is about a special teams player. I really liked Carlson kicking. Should Forbath be worried? I think so. Stephen Osborne Jr., a regular on the podcast, said Kyle Sloter. He was miles ahead of Trevor Siemian. John Dosdell typed in Dwayne the Rock Thomas. I like that quite a bit. Mark Anderson with another Rock Thomas. Brent Foster typed in, "Can you smell la 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 la?" So that's another Rock Thomas. We're having a lot of fun with him here in the comments. We have a Thomas and Mike Hughes comment as well. Lots of great stuff here. So we thank everyone for commenting on this week's social media. Like I said at the beginning of the show, we're going to ask you guys about what's his nuts, the receiver that none of us like.
Laquan Treadwell. Dude, man, that's too funny. We want him to succeed. Don't think that we just poop all over him because we just like to. We just simply tell you how we think, we perceive it, and we feel. But that's the name of the game here on the Purple People podcast. So I don't know who it was, and I'm not going to I'm not running my mouth. I do hate when people negatively talk about the show and they just do it to complain. We had a comment recently, I can't remember who it was, that said we kind of go off the rails a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that you're wrong to the guy who said that. Yeah, like when me and Kyle do the show, it goes everywhere. But that's the beauty and the nature of the show. That's kind of what got us where we are because we have little references here and there. Usually we try to stick on a straight, roadway, and we'll veer off left or right every now and again. But I'll take it in stride, man. We're not going to please everyone. Hopefully you don't just shut us out completely for that. But if you do, glad you checked us out for the time you did. To plug everything else, man, check out our Facebook, facebook.com/Purple People Podcast. We're on Twitter, twitter.com/PurplePeoplePod. We do a show every week. We've only missed a show maybe 2 or 3 times in the last 4 years. So we do one show every week. We're not going to overload you with these little 5-minute videos that separates us from these other guys. Not shitting on the other Viking podcasts out there because we support each other. This is a family. But we're very consistent. And the season is here, guys. This is the time to do it, okay? We're going to be doing the Survival League soon. I want to plug that. We'll get that out to the page probably in the next 3 weeks. The Survival League, I was awful at it last year. You get to beat people like me, which is great because I suck at it. But basically, if you've never played in it before, you pick a matchup each week. The next week, you can't pick the same team in a row. You have to be very good at your picks when it comes to
timing.
Playing. Yeah, you gotta know your matchups, and we all know how the NFL works. There's always going to be upsets, so it's a fun time. We do that here, and if you win and you end up winning the Survival League, we will send you a little goodie package full of all kinds of cool stuff that Adam, myself, and Kyle will put together, and it's absolutely free just for listening. So stay tuned for that. For me, I'm going to shout it out again. If you're in El Paso, Texas, and you're not doing anything at 11 o'clock tomorrow night, come to Bar 915. It's on Airport Road. It's right outside of Fort Bliss, and it's near the airport. My Metallica tribute band, Disposable Ink, is playing. Like I said earlier, I got a great feeling about the show. I got good energy today. It's going to go over tomorrow, and we're going to kill this shit. We haven't played since June 30th, so it's about time to tear the house down somewhere. But Kyle West, I'll leave you with the floor, sir.
I follow your band practice videos and stuff on YouTube, and it would be very difficult to be in a Metallica tribute band. And your guys, all of you, your bandmates are fucking awesome, dude. Like
they are. They're good people and they're great musicians.
Yeah. That's really cool shit. Oh, let's see here. I do another podcast. It's called Shut Up, I Like This, where we talk about movies and film, and we discuss how much. I mean, you get a chuckle out of that every time I say it.
I swear to God, man, it's like, so Katie Nolan, I have to talk about Katie Nolan every week because I want to marry you, Katie Nolan. I love you. Sit on my face. Anyways, what? No, but she's got, you gotta have a clever name because that's half the battle. If it's something lengthy or something weird, whatever. Hers is sports with a question mark because the whole show they kind of talk about sports, but it's kind of off the rails like we are. You got to find something cool to name it, and I just think it's funny because that's something that I would say, something I know you've said before. They'd be like, well, I don't like Metallica because they sold out. Like, shut up, I like that. Like.
Yeah,
that's the best name ever for a podcast, man.
I know, right? And that's the whole idea. That's the whole genesis of this podcast because Jeff and I are both big, huge, that's my co-host, both big movie fans. And like, I worked at a video store, I worked at a theater, and you go online and you go on Twitter and Rotten Tomatoes, and everyone fucking hates everything. And that's not
stupid. That's why.
And that's not how it is in real life. Like in real life, people like movies, and so. We just go on and we just talk about film. We talk about all kinds of good stuff. You can find us on YouTube and on Facebook, and that's what I will plug this week is the Shut Up, I Like This podcast.
I suggest you guys check it out, and I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna bug him to make me come on, but one day Kyle's gonna have a movie that I and him both enjoy, which we have a lot. I'll shout out Adam for that because Adam likes a bunch of stuff that I've usually never heard of or stuff that's off the map. Him and Kyle are the movie buffs of the three of us, but for sure, me and you connect on some things, especially horror movies and stuff. Yeah. So anything comedy or horror, I'm going to be on that podcast one day, and I can't freaking wait. And I want to do
even stuff that you don't even think about. Like, it ends up being a great way for Jeff and I to watch movies. Why would I watch this otherwise? So we did The Mighty Ducks the other month back. And dude, that was so much fun. Like, that movie has aged incredibly well, and it's really, really good still. Like, I encourage everyone, you should go listen to that episode. That one was a fun discussion.
I saw that. I did that recently too. I know it's a Texas thing. I'm not sure if it goes anywhere else, but the Alamo Drafthouse is absolutely the best movie theater I've ever been a part of. They do throwback nights every night of the week. And for this month, I think for August, they've done sports. They're playing Apollo Creed, the new one with Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, that's a good one.
Field of Dreams. They're doing Space Jam, and I saw them do Space Jam, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go watch Space Jam when I get home, and I did that the other night. I haven't watched it in 15 years.
Right? We did a Shut Up, I Like This. We did a Shut Up, I Like This on Space Jam.
That's perfect, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of, I wouldn't say it was ahead of its time, but that was a really good one. But we're fucking just talking now just to talk. Thank you again to every single person that listens to this. The guys in the chat are faithfuls. Thank you for tagging along. I know it's a Friday. It's 9 o'clock on the East Coast. We're going to get another one up here soon after this game tomorrow. Hopefully we'll shoot for Sunday or Monday. Yeah, thank you to everybody. Check out my band's page, Disposable Ink, on Facebook. Check out Kyle West Podcast, Shut Up, I Like This. Check out Adam Carlson stuff for all your Viking news. A lot of the stuff we talk about on the show, you can find there in well-written, better articulated articles by Mr. Adam Carlson, The Viking Age. Go check out The Viking Age. That's how he makes his livelihood and pays his rent. Every time you click on it, you put another $1 in his bank account, so do that. That's all I've got. Prayers up for Dorian Foley, our brother up there, helping with his dad this week. And we'll see you guys very, very soon after this game against the Jaguars. Stay classy, Minnesota.
Cool, everyone. Thank you.